Alright, welcome to JroReads.
Hello there.
I am back with Metaliar. We
Yo.
are back reading Sonic's Ultimate Harem. Would you like to tell them where we left off?
Baby, you just read my mind.
That's very literally right where we left
That's
off.
right, very literally. Right before this.
Sonic came.
Sonic came to the Institute. Sonic then visited the professor and was promised Bobby he was going to play video games, promised Wolverine he was going to fight. Then went to go take a nap, and then Rogue came in.
And F-Dom the shit out of him.
And F-Dom the actual fuck.
F-Dom the actual come from him.
Actually, the actual fuck and come from him. And then he just came, and now Rogue's like, now that you have come, do you want the fucks? Baby, you just read my mind.
Oh, that's good.
And just like that, the blur's upper body jerked upwards, and as soon as he was inches away from her face, he immediately pressed his lips against hers, and he, on his first lucky try, gripped the zipper on her outfit and started undressing her, all while the two continued to make out. With her heroic nature then kicking in, the gal decided to assist the blur with a quick and expert removal of her own bra, which happened all without having to break the kiss.
Sonic couldn't open her bra. Sonic couldn't get her bra off. I love this!
First try he got the zipper, he couldn't figure out the bra though.
Listen, it's okay, it's his first time.
Yeah.
It's his first time seeing boobs.
Just, after a little bit of fiddling and standing up for the sake of getting a good grip on the fabric, the mutant's bare body was finally there for the hog to see.
The hog!
Entranced by her curves and incredible frame, the blur took a moment to admire the view, the sight of which causing Rogue to blush. A little bit later, the hog decided that it was his turn to catch the gal off guard, and with that in mind, he quickly had his arm wrapped around her, and in that same length of time, pulled her close.
Ooh, looks like somebody's ready to have some fun.
Rogue pointed out, prompting the blur to give an unashamed smile. Yeah, I don't know why Gambit would be such a foolish as to leave such a sweet thing like you. You're absolutely beautiful.
Sonic's a virgin. I'm telling you.
I buy it.
Thank you.
That's
all I want. Next time on JroReads, I'm done. I'm done. That's all I needed.
I don't know yet.
No,
we'll find out how he.
Fuck you.
We'll find out how he handles this. Now, listen, I've got it. I don't know. I'll believe it. However, I am not convinced.
Fine. Why, thank you, Sonic.
Rogue said with a blush.
It's always nice to have someone like you to lift my spirits by bringing up my ex-boyfriend constantly.
But enough talk. I think it's time we get down to some action.
I was thinking the same thing, baby.
Without warning, Rogue pulled the blur closer and crushed her mouth against his, and at the same time, she wrapped her arms around him.
I just imagined her just, like, headbutting him. And then, like, fucking Mortal Kombat X-Ray, both their teeth just explode.
Like, I thought you were going to be like, oh, she went full Melina.
Oh my god, just ripped his jaw.
Yeah, just...
Now it's time for the real fun. Rogue, what are you? Oh my god!
Oh god!
Those organs are supposed to be on my insides. This is no good.
I just can't wait to read this next line.
Please.
Getting over the surprise of continuing their very primal struggle of tongues, the blur noticed the Belle's rather plump derriere, which gave him a devious idea. Then, in a few seconds, his hands lowered to firm mounts and started to squeeze them, with the move catching Rogue completely by surprise. It didn't last long, however, as in the matter of seconds, she was right back into resuming the kiss.
Her derriere.
Derriere.
Sonic's an incel. Confirm. Continue.
Okay. Listening to her wordless command, the blur quickly shot himself. Wait, no. I missed it. After a few more minutes, the two finally broke away from one another. Before either of them had a chance to catch their breath, the blur quickly grabbed Rogue by the shoulders, and in a firm but careful manner, he tossed her down on the bed, and before her surprise could catch up with her, he quickly joined her. It was here when he made the move with his arms. The hog spread the Belle's legs wide open, exploring her most private area, which was red and swollen. Signs that it was begging for attention.
Signs she should go to a doctor. I just want to... I'm trying to, like... I'm struggling here. to understand the chain of events. They were on the bed.
Yeah.
Then they started to undress Rogue.
Yeah.
And she got up to make it easier to undress herself. Then they got back on the bed. And then they start making out again. He touches her butt.
Yep.
Then they stand back up.
And then he pushes
pushes her onto the bed.
There's a bit of jumpy inconsistencies.
The mating ritual of the blue hedgehog is quite an exotic dance.
Yeah. Noticing the Blur's grin, the gal returned the look with a smirk, as well as her curling her fingers towards herself, the signal clearly being for him to come closer and finally take her, which was only made even more apparent by the come and get me look she had on her face.
I like that random quotation right before
I guess
come and get me.
Well, I think come and get me was supposed to be in quotations.
But it shouldn't be.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
It's not a quote. Learn what a quote is.
Listening to her...
Thoughts do not go in quotations. Things that are not said aloud do not go in quotations because they are not said aloud.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry. It just really bothers me.
This is what it goes, man. This is what you wanted.
It's what the card do, you.
Card do, you. Listening to her wordless command, the Blur quickly got himself into position and arranged his cock so it was just barely pressing against her outer lips, which incited a light moan from the gal. Taking that chance to get back at her a little bit for teasing him so much, the hog then began to slowly rub his member along the outer region of the mutant's aching warmth, which incited even more light moans from her, as well as silent pleas for him to finally drop everything and start pounding her.
Okay, but when was she teasing him? She woke him up and started sucking his dick.
Well, no, she grabbed it.
I guess that's true.
Yeah. But there was actually no teasing going on.
Yeah.
It was very much I want to fuck. Can we fuck? And he's like, yeah. And then she fucked.
She's like, hey, let me fuck you, and grabbed his dick through his pants.
That's not a teasing. That's more of a very blunt statement.
I am Rogue. It's time for fuck.
It's time for your dick. This is how I imagine.
Welcome to You Are Dick.
Eventually, her wish was granted, as once she saw that she was good and ready, the Blur wasted no time and immediately started pushing with him, watching intently as every inch was swallowed into the caverns with the intense warmth and pressure immediately rushing over him. Then, once he saw he was completely in, he let it sit there for a few more minutes before proceeding to immediately pick up the pace and give Rogue all that she had coming to her.
Sorry.
That's quite a good reaction.
That's the sound of them having sex.
God. With the pleasure being so great, the mutant felt her eyes roll in the back of her skull, and the way Sonic was pounding her was far beyond anything Gambit was capable of. The way his length filled her, the way his cobalt flesh pressed against and massaged her walls, the sound of his balls it would make as they smacked into her flesh, all of this and more driving the gal completely mad. As far as she was though concerned, she loved every moment of it, evidenced by the way her nails dug into the bedsheets and her near constant moans.
I don't like the fact that it just reminded me she's having sex with a hedgehog.
I mean, look, you had to imagine reading this. You have to imagine that, first of all, here's a question that I think I should have asked before we started.
Uh-huh.
How tall is Sonic?
He's not very tall. He's maybe like 4 feet.
4 feet.
Yeah.
Rogue's what? Like 5'6", 5'7"?
She's pretty tall. I'd put her up at like 5'9", 5'10".
5'9", 5'10"?
Yeah.
There's just a lot of... It's very interesting. And also he's a hedgehog.
But like, you know what? On the other hand, it's fine. Because none of this actually happened in the canon of the story. So it's fine. Sonic's just making this up.
No, it's real.
That's why it's so inconsistent. No. It's why he has no idea what sex is. It's why he has no idea what kissing is.
No, I buy this. I buy that this is real. I'm right.
We're gonna fight.
All right.
We're gonna fight about this.
Listen, I'm about to get to a part where I can't wait to see you do this. Okay. On the other hand, Sonic was having a ball with all this. The whole experience was almost unreal, as never in his life would he have ever imagined that getting to meet the X-Men, much less bang one of their members. But to see that it was happening and that this was any sort of dream, the Hog had to admit, this was one hell of an amazing surprise. Right as the walls clenched down on him even tighter, the blur let out a throaty growl. The increased in warmth only prompting his thrust to become faster and far more primal, which in turn prompted far more screams from the mutant.
Oh, that's it. Right there, baby. Give it to me. That feels so good.
Rogue moaned, her senses now completely overtaken with the intense pleasure. After a little bit more, the gal decided she wanted even more, so without even a second of thought, she quickly wrapped her arms around the hog and pulled him closer, which prompted him to thrust much faster and a whole lot harder. Soon the gal's moans began to raise in pitch, which was matching the tightening of her grip, thus indicating that Sonic, what he was doing, was driving her crazy, which only encouraged him to go even faster.
Fuck, right there. Oh, God.
Rogue.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me try that again. Fuck, right there. Oh, God.
Shouted in a very hoarse. Fuck.
Her voice is getting higher, but it's also hoarse now.
It's hoarse and hoarse. Oh my god. All right.
What's consistency?
No, I mean,
I guess it can be both higher and hoarse.
Because it says drier, so it's not like a default thing. It's like as if they've been screaming for a while.
Maybe.
But it can also raise in tone. But yeah, also with a lot of times you end up getting a lower pitch.
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. The word hoarse is weird to use there.
Yeah. With the speed that he was going, and with how much the caverns were practically strangling his cock, the blur grit his teeth and tightened his grip around her thighs. A little bit more time passed. The girl found herself wanting even more pleasure, so she tilted her head to the side. Recognizing what she wanted, the blur leaned down and started kissing and nibbling at her neck, which prompted even more moans from the sex-crazed mutant. Yeah, that's Rogue.
Yeah, you know Rogue.
Sex-crazed mutant. Absolutely. This action continued for several more minutes, with the pace constantly getting higher and higher, so much more that the bed even started to rock back and forth. After a little bit... Yeah, this doesn't alert anyone in the fucking dormitories.
Well, this is exactly what Rogue wanted. She's sitting there going, fuck, you're so much better at sex than Gambit and his tiny, inconsequential penis. Fuck, I can't even feel when Gambit's inside of me.
Well, no, you want to just realize, too, it doesn't matter how loud they are. Xavier knows. Xavier senses this.
Oh my god.
Like, we freaking Jean Grey and Professor Xavier, they can't help it.
You're right. You're 100%.
They literally cannot. It's not like they can even be like, I wonder what Sonic's thinking right now. I'm thinking, this is such an amazing surprise that is happening to me that I get to feck one of the X-Men. It's more like they're just sipping tea. Wolverine and Xavier are talking about some X-Men shit, and Xavier just has this look. He's like,
I feel her pain. I feel her pleasure. I didn't ask for any of this. This is my curse.
I don't want this. Freaking
Wolverine, have you ever been fucked like a high school girl? Wolverine sitting there with a scar like, what?
Wait.
You heard me. You heard me, Logan.
Jean Grey, what's he talking about? Jean's just like silently like...
Just one tear from one side of her face, one like little drool line from the other.
No, it's both from all sides. It's so big.
I never knew a hedgehog could be so big. Shut up, Gene. I know.
Gene, I don't want to think about it any more than I have to.
I'm trying my best here, Gene.
Wolverine's just like, Bob,
what the fuck is going on?
What, Bob?
I don't have time for this. If you need me, I'll be brooding.
Yeah, absolutely. After a little bit more, Sonic decided it was time to switch positions, and with a quick signal to Rogue, they did just that. After that...
What was the signal? He's like doing Naruto hand signs?
Well, I don't know.
I'm gonna be Hokage!
Oh my god. I mean, it could be that. It could be a wink. It could be like...
But why doesn't the story tell us?
Because... Oh,
it's like so oddly specific in other details.
Yeah.
And then like it gets to like action scenes or like Smut. It's like time passes.
Yeah.
Stuff happens.
Because they didn't know. They wanted to.
They're just a little boy.
Writing Smut's hard, man. I'll admit it. Writing Smut can be fun. Like if you're trying to make it like good, then like it actually becomes, because you're like, oh yeah, they're fucking, and then they're fucking, and then you really run out of things to say, and then you're like, no, but I don't want to see like it happen for 2 seconds.
The hog gripped her canal with his meaty length.
Yeah, I love the words that smut writers come up with to not say penis or
So
vagina.
good.
It's my favorite part of reading smut is being because you read certain things and you're like, I had never even thought of using that as a description, but it's amazing.
Yeah, like, and I get not wanting to say, like, penis or vagina, because that feels so, like, clinical.
Yeah.
But, like, also, like, his length barely breathed on her warmth.
On her warmth caverns, gripping tightly, strangle, and it's just like, oh.
Inflamed and beet red, and it's like,
red and
Jesus.
inflamed and pulsating for more. You're like, oh.
Looking at her vagina, like, kill me!
Oh my fucking god. I don't want to imagine this road. Alright. Okay. Alright.
Please continue.
After that, after they did the signal and did the position switching, the blur is now completely lacking a shirt.
Oh, he finally took off his tank top.
That whole thing
But he
happened?
still has the fingerless gloves on.
Alright, yeah. Yeah, alright.
He still has just his white socks and his fingerless gloves.
Oh my god. Alright, here we go. Completely lacking a shirt. Found himself flat on his back and his hands gripping the voluptuous vixen's supple mounds with the latter being on top, her legs spread along his thighs. Without wasting any time, the gal was bouncing herself up and down with her moans steadily approaching the pitch that they were before, with the time to get to the point that the only shortening once the blur started to squeeze and knead her breasts. After a few more minutes of fondling of her fleshy mounds, the hog decided to switch things up a bit and move to her waist, following which she wasted no time in starting to massage her ass. The hog was absolutely enjoying himself, and with the view he had, he was almost like watching a TV show, or at least it was as though he was living out a scene in a porno. As time went on,
it, Sonic? It's like this. It's like this story you're weaving is just based on some porn you watched.
I'm willing to give Sonic the idea that he doesn't know how to describe it. It's like I'm in this movie. That's a porno. Hell yeah. Alright, let's see. As time went on, Rogue found her breath starting to become more and more heavy as the ecstasy she felt began to increase along with Sonic's speed. Soon her ass was clapping against the blur's thighs, with the sound of it only serving to draw Sonic's attention back to that lovely spot. Immediately once he looked down at her waist, the blur wasted no time and carried out his devious scheme and delivered one hard smack into the bubbly ass, the impact causing her to squeal.
Oh, yes! Oh, yes! Give it to me! That's the spot!
Rogue cried out.
Gambit could never smack my ass like that!
Oh my god. Not wanting to be outdone, the gal increased the pace of her ass slapping harder and harder against Sonic's lap with every passing moment, which was all in an attempt to keep her pleasure-fueled high going. It was also at this point where after a long time of speaking loudly and trying the best to keep it cool, the gal finally cut loose and started screaming.
Yes! Yes, right there! Yeah, right there, yes!
All this and more was music to Sonic's ears, and it only prompted him to increase his speed even more.
Sonic's at Mach 1 now.
Yeah, like, that's the other thing about writing smut. Yeah, and no matter what you start off with, you always start off fast and hard, and you always end up at Mach 3 and, like, a jackhammer. If you're going, they just go even faster, and then it gets even faster, and then
it gets even faster.
Like, yeah,
he smacks her ass, and then he gets even faster.
And then she goes faster on him.
Sonic's like,
yeah, like eventually it just goes. It's like imagine you try to do a challenge in high school where you listen to some hardcore song like fucking Devil Wears Prada or some shit, and you're like, I'm gonna fuck at the speed that the drums make. So you go.
And fucking, there's just Professor X in his office, just like, I feel something's wrong, and then all the fucking windows in the school just blow out.
Well, this is what would scare me if Rogue. Okay, I'm scared that they're gonna go Jean Grey. And I'm scared she's gonna go Phoenix midway through.
Oh my god.
That's a hate fuck I would not want. Hold on. Oh my god.
Hold on.
Are you fucking...
I gotta see. Sonic's Ultimate Harem, Chapter 256, Jean Grey.
Well, maybe we'll get there.
Yeah, maybe we'll get to Chapter 256.
Can we just read the first line of Chapter 256?
Absolutely.
So after the sex I had with Karen, we pretended that it never happened and continued to enjoy your party.
Well, let's say, Sonic, that's a heck of a story.
Okay.
Wait a minute. After you had your time with Karen, did other girls continue to fight over to sleep with you?
Yeah, at first, but Karen gotten everyone to calm down. Even Zangief, who had a fight with Birdie to simmer down to keep the party nice and smooth, and no one was creating a massive scene to the guests.
Oh my god, maybe we just gotta jump to this chapter next.
Listen, you gotta think of characters. Because at this point, we could go to one of two ways. We could read from chapter 1 to chapter whatever the fuck this is.
Fuck no.
Or you could just go, what characters do I want to see Sonic fuck?
Yo, audience. Write in the comments what characters you want to see Sonic the Hedgehog fuck. Because very likely there's a Sonic Ultimate Harem chapter dedicated to them.
Yeah.
Like there's like 300 of them. Hold on, let's see. Let's see how many there actually are. There's 360. There are 360. Jesus fucking Christ.
Did that say Black Ops 2?
I hope so.
Yeah,
Misty from Blask Ops. Blask Ops 2. Blask Ops. Hold on. When did Little Sonic start writing this? July 26, 2013. Oh my god! Wait, what?
No, updated
March 18th, 2000. He went from 2013 to last year. He's been writing the same Sonic smut. God fucking bless you, my man.
Yeah, Little Sonic, whoever you are, thank you.
I'm hoping that your writing only gets better through time, and we're gonna be jumping around to check. Absolutely. Okay, where were we?
Alright. Time flies by. The two of them were now completely drenched with sweat, and yet they kept pushing forward. In an attempt to center herself, the gal pressed her hands against the bed sheets and stopped her a moment to rock her hips a bit on the blur's pulsing meat.
Oh, God.
That
sounds terrible.
The hog groaned, grunted, growled. He basically made every incomprehensible sound that was known in the universe. Yeah. After a little bit, the blur found himself being reminded that Rhodes' rocking rack once he saw them bouncing in such a neat rhythm, which in turn reminded him about how they've received so little attention.
Oh yeah, boobs.
Desiring to fix that, the blur wasted no time and proceeded to grip and fondle them, which prompted a smile from the mutant, which only encouraged him to tease her more. The blur then proceeded to squeeze them a little tighter with his fingers, on occasion pinching them and tweaking them the hardened nipples, which would more often than not earn him a high-pitched scream from the beauty, coupled with the increasing pace of her bouncing.
Oh god, oh yes, oh fuck, this feels so fucking good.
Rogue squealed, her voice filled with passion.
Okay, so here's my thing about written smut. I get that, it comes to a point when you're in the middle of a sex scene, you're like, what do I make my characters say? Because, how do I, keep repeating the system of, the girl being like, oh yeah, that feels so fucking good, yeah, fucking give it to me, here we go, oh yeah, give me that, yeah, that feels so fucking good, oh fuck. And the guy going, oh fuck, oh fuck. Until you get to the point where one of them goes, I'm coming.
Well, because that's why ultimately length doesn't matter in smut.
Yeah, because at a point you're just repeating yourself.
Yeah.
So especially oh god, oh yes, oh fuck, this feels so fucking good. What did that add, really?
Just trying to just help with imagination.
I guess.
That's the only thing it really is that's to help, because you can be because otherwise the way you would actually do this in proper thing is just to be with each thrust, Rogue moaned with the timing of each one, adding in little expletives and assurances. And like it's one line, but like that you can read that and it's like it doesn't feel like that. So Little Sonic is like I'm gonna add in every single one and the thing to keep like to keep the rhythm of it in like check.
Yeah, and I guess it also does like ground the fact that like the characters are actually experiencing this instead of like just being characters in a story.
They are fucking. Then they do this. Then they do that. And they said it was good. Yeah, no, like you want to add in a bit of there and though. It's just repeating it that many times. Like yeah, it gets a little. It's a little funny.
Yeah.
Just a few more minutes. The pair switch positions again, with this time being the classic action known as doggy style. Bless you.
Oh my god, that's gonna sound great.
The classic action known as doggy style.
The classic action known as doggy style.
Without any hesitation, once he was in position, the blur penetrated the gal once more, and his hands digging into her waist. The pleasure was becoming hard to bear as Rogue soon found her eyes backwards, rolling backwards once more, and her nails practically stabbing through the sheets as she continued to scream as loudly as she could, with it all being coupled by the goofiest smile on her face.
Give it to me, Sonic! That's it, keep going! Don't you dare stop! Keep fucking going!
Rogue screamed, her head looking over to see the progress of the blur was making. The blur groaned once more. The tightening of his balls was quickly becoming more than he could take, which signaled to him that another climax was inevitable. Unbeknownst to him, Rogue was also feeling the same sort of sensation as her pussy was stripping more and more, with her being more than a little impressed at how she was able to keep this going for over half an hour. Rogue, Sonic began in between moans. I'm gonna...
Go on, Sonic, come! Give me everything you've got!
Rogue moaned. Oh, God. With a few more thrusts and a mighty scream, the two went through an earth-shattering climax, with Sonic's spunk filling every bit of Rogue's caverns, while the latter's juices came splashing out like a geyser, with it completely drenched the blur's thighs and cock. After holding himself there for just a little bit longer, Sonic unsheathed his cock from the gal, and with a few final strokes, he released the final ropes of semen on her ass. After taking a few quick breaths, the blur found himself collapsing onto the spot right next to Rogue.
Now that was amazing.
Rogue gasped out, sighing in happiness right as she licked the last bit of semen off her fingers. Yeah, it sure was. It was beyond amazing. Sonic commented with a chuckle, his arms wrapped around the mutant's neck. So how are you now? Do you feel any better?
Very much so.
Rogue replied with a nod.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I'm always happy to help in any way I can. Feeling a little mischievous, the blur added a little something extra. By the way, you were incredible.
I think you're the one who deserves more of the compliments.
Nah, you're the one who deserves it all. I mean, I was just a guy who had to thrust it for a couple minutes. You were the one brave enough to start this all off.
Sonic the Hedgehog, the guy who just had to thrust for a couple of minutes.
Just a couple minutes, man.
I guess he was going at like Mach 4.
Yeah, like that's the thing. To be fair, if it's Sonic, his fast is like that. You could say Sonic goes at that speed.
Yeah, no, like
more praise to Rogue for like taking.
Yeah, that. Rogue doesn't have a pelvis anymore. She has hips full of dust.
Let's see. I think it's
true.
Yeah.
True, but remember, Sugar, you were the one who managed to resist my powers.
With the mention of the last word, Rogue's eyes widened a little slightly a bit.
Speaking of which, how did you manage to do that? I thought I was going to come in here and murder you for your dick. Yeah, put that in perspective.
It's a really weird time to mention, oh, by the way, how are you not dead?
Yeah.
Smirking.
I was just going to get you erect and then fuck the life out of you. Listen, she's asking.
Yeah. Smirking, the blur used his free hand to point at his chest, and once she laid her eyes on it, she watched as it pulsed for a split second with energy. Chaos energy, Sonic explained.
Is it just like living inside of him? Like moving under his skin?
You would know way more about this than me, J-Ro.
This is not how chaos energy works.
Okay.
So Sonic's ability to use the chaos energy lets him harness the powers of the chaos emeralds themselves.
Yeah.
Which is why he can do things like chaos control and like chaos blast. Like he can go supersonic. All these things that him and Shadow can do because they can harness chaos energy from the emeralds themselves.
Uh-huh.
They do not have like They do not have chaos energy living in their veins like a serpent that just kind of like bulges sometimes. Because that's horrifying.
A little bit.
You can't put that in a kid's game. Tails would shit himself.
Oh my god. Dude, what if Tails created the Chaos Emerald that would let you do that?
Then Tails needs to go to like an asylum. He shouldn't be able to. He should not be allowed to practice science anymore. He's done.
Dude, no, man, he's just a little kid.
He's just a boy. He's just a boy.
No, you're not. Oh yeah, Chaos Energy. One of the techniques you can learn once you master it is the ability that negates most, if not all, powers that take away your own. It's kind of like having a force field for another layer of skin.
Okay, forget the sex. That's impressive.
Rogue replied, her voice full of surprise. Following Sonic's short chuckle, the two remained silent for a few more seconds, though eventually it was broken. Well, Sonic began, I think it's now time for me to take a nap.
Wait.
Rogue commanded.
Before you doze off, I was wondering, do you want my phone number?
Alright, Sonic said confused. What's it for, though?
Well, it could be used for anything, really, Sugar. You could use it to call me for help in taking down a villain. If you need me for when you're feeling down, or...
The gal leaned down and lowered the tone into a seductive whisper.
You could use it to set up events like this again.
Whether it was due to the hormones still acting on him, or him really enjoying the sex, the blur smiled.
In that case, Oh, that's you. Sorry. I'm stepping on your lines.
In that case, I'd especially love your number.
Great to hear.
Rogue said with a smile.
I'll give to you before you leave, but right now, I think I'm gonna follow your lead and get some rest.
Right at that moment, Rogue's lips curled into a smirk, once a particularly naughty idea entered her mind.
Or at least that's what I would be saying if I wasn't so full of energy from you accepting my phone number.
Smirking, Sonic turned back to her. You thinking what I'm thinking? Sonic asked.
Oh, yes.
Rogue said with a nod.
So what do you say, Sugar? Want to go another round?
Without any hesitation, Sonic had shifted his position to where he was on top of the gal with his quickly hardening cock now resting neatly against her folds. Does that answer your question? Sonic asked, smirking.
Oh, you know it, baby.
Rogue replied. With all of that said and done, the blur wasted no time and thrusted inside the girl once more. Thus began what was sure to be a long second round.
So that was Chapter 1 of Sonic's Ultimate Harem. What do you think?
Why? Why? Look. Why? Like... There's a lot of questions in that, but it all boils down to the word why. What gave you the idea to go, you know what? We're going to record something with Ms. Halliard today. We're just going to open up Sonic's Harem and just read it.
Because Sonic's Harem is one of the most ridiculous fan fictions I've read, and not because of like so much the like content itself, right?
Yeah.
But mostly because of the headcanon I formed around it.
Okay, yeah. No, that's fair.
Like, I love this idea. I've wanted to have episodes where we read fan fiction ever since we did Sonic Adventure. I thought it'd be a lot of fun if we could, like, both sit down and, like, just read something, and then I'll just put gameplay over it.
Yeah.
And I thought that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because I had a lot of fun with doing it with Sonic Adventure, but I couldn't really pay attention to it because I was also playing.
Yeah.
So, Sonic Ultimate Harem specifically, because every time I think of the situation of Mario and Sonic sitting in a diner, and Sonic going, yeah, and then then I touched her breasts, and then I put my meat rod against her holes. Yeah, her folds. I put them against there. And she was like, oh, Sonic, you're so much better than my ex-boyfriend. And she said I had the biggest dick she's ever seen. I'd fucking die. Because it's the best.
Okay. No, that's fair. I know. I wasn't expecting to do a dramatic reading of it, but at the same time, you're absolutely correct in doing it. Because I also love doing this shit. And, like, you know. The question is, are we continuing with this?
I would be down to do more Sonic's Ultimate Harem. So if you guys like this video, please like this video. Maybe subscribe. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe we do other shit that isn't this.
And if you don't like it, just comment and be like, "Hey, do this fan fiction instead."
Go fuck you, you fucking furry weeb pieces of shit.
I mean, that's irrelevant. You came here, you looked for this, you wanted this. You both knew it. All of you knew who was watching this, what you were getting yourself into, you scrub lord.
This is part 3. You know what this was.
By this point, if you're a little upset, like, "Oh, I can't believe they read the furry fan fiction," then I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to tell you.
But yeah, please, if there's a chapter you guys want us to read, if there's a different fanfic you guys want us to read, I would happily do this again. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I would do this a lot.
Like, way more fun than I thought it was gonna be, to be honest. Like, I knew it was gonna be like funny. I knew it was gonna be like, oh, this is gonna be a funny thing we did, but I had a shit ton of fun reading this thing.
Same here. I love your ideas, Jiro.
Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time on JroPlays.
Have a good one.